एकं अक्षरं हृदि निरन्तरं भासते स्वयं लिख्यते कथम्। हृदयकुहर मध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यदन्नहम् इति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति। हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वता भजता चलन रूपा आत्मनिष्ठो सत्वम्। देहं मृण्मयवत् जडा स्मृतम् दुर्नतस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तभावशुक्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भातः कोऽहं भावतत्कुतो रघ्यः दृष्टात्मनिष्ठ स्तुतितया अरुणाचल शिवः विभाति स्वयं स्तुतितया अरुणाचल शिवः विभाति स्वयं। Namo Ramana. In this, the Thursday satsang from Ramanacentre for Learning, it has been our practice to select two verses from the work Guru Vachika Kovai. The work is rendered by in poetry form, in verse form, by Muruganar Swamigal. The verses are selected at random by Revatima. Each verse is read and the reading is followed by a short meditation on its meaning. That is followed by the practice of Atma Vicharam for about 15 minutes. After these two segments of verse reading, meditation on meaning, and the practice of self-enquiry are completed, there will be summing up remarks by Venkatesh Deshpande ji, and that will be followed by the offering of the chanting of Sri Ramana Stotram and the floral offerings here. The chanting will be online by Vaibhavji and Prarthnama, and the floral offerings will be by Manjunath ji from right here. We begin the satsang by taking up the first verse selected for us, verse number 8. Verse number 8 belongs to the prefatory segment.
18.
18 is it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. 18. 18 belongs to the first segment, investigation into truth. And this is the auspicious invocation is the subsegment. Invocation is the subsegment, and the first part is investigation into truth. This is verse number 18. He possesses a heart in which attachment and separation are not possible. The deity invoked, the supreme being invoked, the Sadguru invoked, Bhagavan who is invoked, possesses a heart in which attachment and separation are not possible. He is the Swarupa who has the beauty of renunciation, that is jnana, putting an end to the sorrow caused by the forgetfulness of the self. He ruled over me and brought me under his dominion. His feet are the perfect exemplar of all the distinguishing characteristics of truth. There is a note selected from Day by Day with Bhagavan. Bhagavan says, renunciation and realization are the same. They are different aspects of the same state. Giving up the non-self is renunciation. Inhering in the self is jnana or self-realization. One is negative and the other is the positive of the same and single truth. The self-affirming self and the non-self negating self are one and the same. He possesses a heart in which attachment and separation are not possible. He is the Swarupa who has the beauty of renunciation, that itself is jnana. Jnana, Vairagya, Siddhyartham are told as two different things. But in Bhagavan, that Vairagya is of such nature, the renunciation is of such complete nature, that it is the same as the completely absolute jnana. Putting an end to the sorrow caused by the forgetfulness of the self, he ruled over me and brought me under his dominion. His feet are the perfect exemplar of all the distinguishing characteristics of truth. Truth is one, and Jnana Marga is the removal of all differentiating factors from consciousness. One of the ultimate differentiating factors would be that you have these two aspects, that you have to let go of the non-self and then hold the self. But what is the point in which self is realized? The self is realized when these two are not two different things. If there are two different things, renunciation is separate from jnana, or the detachment and attachment are two different things, then there will be a detached self and an attached self. The problem will be that if the objective states are two, then implicitly you have divided your own self into two. Suppose you have two margas of loving approach to the earth, to the world, to the others, or with reasoning and rules. These are the two approaches you have. It's not that, and these approaches have helped so far because they have helped in delineating or discriminating between right and wrong. The right and the wrong used in reasoning, then hold on to that. That is, the duality has helped so far. But we also find that that duality has no end. You can keep on refining the right and the wrong. You can keep on refining the love and the reasoning. It is not going to end. Where is it going to end? Only when that duality merges in oneself, with the implicit understanding that suppose we separate renunciation from jnana, that we have to get away from some situation, and then only we will be able to be calm and quiet. That means we have separated the two. There is a renouncing self, or there is a vairagya filled self, and there is a jnana filled self. Whereas Vairagyam and jnana are one and the same. Then the self is not divided into two. The Vairagyam is merely the one aspect of keeping away from the non-self, and the jnana is the other side of the same thing, that is abiding in the undivided self. So when this point comes, that even the root sadhanas, which you have held as dharma so long, and one of the most foundational sadhanas or most deepest of sadhanas would be Vairagyam and Jnanam. When these two merge and they are seen as one and the same, that is where abidance comes. And Bhagavan is one who is abiding like this. And such a one has dominion over all the other cells. If the other cells feel separate from him, the one who feels unified with them has dominion over them. In the sense, Muruganar says that to surrender to that one self's feet is to surrender to all aspects of truth, where the forgetfulness of self is completely demolished. Self is something in which you don't have the duality of remembrance and forgetfulness. Only something other than the self can be remembered, something other than the self can be forgotten. So, this is a remembrance. Abiding in the self is a remembrance beyond remembrance and forgetfulness. All remembrance and forgetfulness indicate that there is duality. Primarily, we have divided ourselves into two selves. So, there will always be false elation and false regret at remembering and forgetting. Whereas there is no remembering, there is no forgetting in the self, there is only being the self. Such a one who has unified the whole creation, has not divided as two, has permeated by the one self. Such a one has dominion over all the sadhakas, and the sadhakas surrender to such a one leads to the same situation as the sadhana of self-enquiry. The complete surrender to Bhagavan takes away all sense of duality. Who am I to know right and wrong? I know only Bhagavan. When somebody asks Muruganar, do you know Vedantam? Do you know Siddhantam? Say, I don't know Vedantam, I don't know Siddhantam, I know only Ramanantam. That is complete surrender to Bhagavan and his teachings, is to hold his feet, which will take us to the same self of all, is what Muruganar is saying here in invoking Bhagavan's grace. That is verse number 18. Let us sit in Atma Vicharam for the next 15 minutes or so. Ujjalji, you can set the time for us. Thank you.
Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. We continue by taking up the second verse selected for us, 657. 657, we find in the segment Meditation on the Truth. The subsegment is form. Urvam, form. Verse number 657. Worship of the formless reality will be possible only for those minds, for those in whose minds the ego that identifies with the form has perished. Worship of the formless reality will be possible only for those in whose minds the ego that identifies with the form has perished. You should know that all worship performed by those with a mind which has an ego that identifies with the form will be worship of form only. So the worship of form and formless is not out there. This form and formless is a duality that exists inside us. By going into that duality, we create two self possibilities. That there is a self which is having form, there is a self which does not have form. Because of avichara, we feel there are two selves inside. That is how we feel these are two paths available to us, really available to us as worship with form and worship without form. Whereas in the still self, there are no two paths. There is no duality of form and formless. There is only the one self. One who is abiding in that one self alone is said to be worshipping the formless, not somebody who is decrying form, going and condemning those who are worshipping form. Arey, what is this that you are doing? Then he is also such a person who is decrying or pulling down those who are worshipping with form is still involved in forms. Whereas the one who has gone beyond forms doesn't have this dichotomy inside. For the ego to rise and identify, this dichotomy is not present. The moment the dichotomy is there, there is this possibility of rising of two selves within. And the same problem can be represented as having dichotomy, or that there are two selves now, one with form, one without form. Are there two selves? You are one. That enquiry closes out that problem about worship about with form, without form. Anybody who has a form and identifies with the form with the ego can only do worship with form. They will be saying God is without form. They'll be laughing at people who have puja done at home, but then they'll be worshipping English, they'll be worshipping money, they'll be worshipping many forms. All of them will be gods to them. They will not realize that. And they will condemn those people who are worshipping God in the form of a rupa. And the worship of God in one form is helpful in removing many of the vasanas towards the multiplicity of gods we have, multiplicity of forms we love. All that is surrendered step by step to the one God. And the possibility of coming to the ego that does not rise at all comes up. Or one comes directly to self-enquiry, whereby one sees this problem that the moment I am with form, God and world have form. The moment I am formless and I can see only the self, then where is the other for world or God to appear? The self-realized one sees only the self. That is the way in which the forms are dissolved by inquiring into our own truth and abiding as the self which doesn't see any non-self, Only when non-self is seen, there is world, there is God with form. To the one who has realized the self, who can see the self alone, be the self alone, that is the one who has gone beyond worship of form and gone beyond the condemnation of worship with form. Even those who condemn worship with form, decry them, they are having the form in mind. Let us sit in Atma Vicharam, where the ego is stilled, taken to its formless nature, where the true worship of stillness of the consciousness is realized. Let us sit in Atma Vicharam for 15 minutes or so. Ujjwalji, you'll be able to set the time again. Thank you.
Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. May I request Venkatesh ji to give us the summing up remarks? Namo Ramana, sir.
Namo Ramana. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Dhyanamoolam Gurur Murti, Pujamoolam Gurur Padam, Mantramulam Vakyam Mokshamulam Guru Kripaha. Mokshamulam Guru Kripaha. This religious spiritual journey is a wonderful place where we typically start with, I want to become a devotee, I want to be a shishya. And sorry. And then after certain looking around, you try to find a guru, and then in the middle also there is a god who is there. So there are three. There's a shishya, there's a guru, and there is God. So it's very tough for a person who is a devotee who sees guru at one end and sees God at the other end, and says who is greater, who is bigger, I don't know. So then what happens is the guru comes along and says that, I will show you God. Oh, you will show me God. Then God gets dropped. God merges into the guru. So this God, whoever you call, the millions of gods that we have, all merge into the guru. So still it becomes there are two of you. The shishya is there and the guru is there. And then the guru says, okay, now Venkatesh, you do all this. You want to realize God? Okay, I will show you the path to realize God. Do karma yoga, do bhakti yoga, do raja yoga, jnana yoga, all this. Do the cleansing, antakara shuddhi, do all this cleansing. Then finally what happens? The guru removes your guru means he removes your ignorance. And then he says that you and me initially were very separate. That was the ignorance. And then he comes along and says that you and me are actually the same. Oh, so now we have come from three to one. So this is a journey. This is a journey of merging all the three into one. And this is a tough journey because you keep going to Tirupati, keep going to Shirdi, you keep going to Tiruvannamalai, here, there, everywhere. And you see somewhere you'll see God, somewhere you'll see Guru, and somewhere in the morning you see yourself in the mirror, you see the Shishya. So that still seems to be the three people there. But here this journey is saying the Guru is trying to tell you, Tattvamasi, you are actually that. So that's what the Guru is trying to say. And what is the Guru trying to do? He's trying to push you from outside, pull you from inside. That's what Guru tries to do. So he tries to move you from three to one. From the gross, he's trying to make it subtle and subtler and subtler and subtler. So this is a journey. Like Bhagavan says, when before he left the body, he says, where can I go? What is this I? Something that each one of us to do manan on. I is the Brahman, is the Atman, is the self, which nothing happens. So Bhagavan is saying that. So what is happening? When the Guru says you are that, then what happens is you have to actually go inwards. So this aspect that we had, as you keep doing more and more sadhana, you start moving closer and closer to the self, to who you really are. But then we have these two in the verse number 18. We had these two words. One is called renunciation, and the other one is realization. Renunciation is something that means you have to let go something. It's like that. The dhobi donkey, the dhobi's donkey is tied to the tree with an imaginary rope. The dhobi has forgotten to bring the rope, and he's tied with imaginary rope to the to the tree. Now the donkey thinks he's tied to the tree. So unless the dhobi, while taking him home, unless he does the act of untying that imaginary rope, that donkey will not move because he thinks that he's tied up. It's like that. We think we have to let go something. What are we to let go? We have to let go nothing. You have to just be who you really are. You are the self. But we think, oh, we have to let go this and let go that. It's like that donkey. The second word that we have to do was realization. I was always that. Only thing I had forgotten. So this is self-realization. So it is realizing that you were always that from the beginning, and beginning all the story. You started the story, I do not know myself, and Guru came along, God came along, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all this drama happened. And then finally what happened? You realize, oh, the thing that I was looking for, has always been that only. So it is being, we've always been in the mode of doing. I will do this, I'll do this, by doing this, this will happen, by doing that, this will happen. So Bhagavan says that realization that you are already that. You don't have to let anything go. You have to just be. Summa ira, Bhagavan says. So if you're quiet and just be, that consciousness devoid of any thoughts, that I amness, all this drama is happening on that consciousness. This drama of life is happening on that consciousness. And that's you. So when you become slowly as you go on doing self-enquiry, you realize, oh, I'm actually that consciousness, and this is happening on me, on me the consciousness, then what happens? It's like a beautiful drama that's happening. You let it happen. But you are a silent witness to the whole thing. And where is renunciation? And where is realization? It's all about you. So finally, in the self, you will always remain. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana. Thank you.
Namo Ramana, sir. Thank you. May I request Vaibhavji and Pratnama to start the chanting? Namo Ramana. Namo Ramana. Go ahead.
भारद्वाज विश्वनाथं विरचितं श्रीरमणास्तोत्रहरिः अपार सच्चित् सुखभाविराशे यस्योर्विमात्रं भुवनं समस्तं गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि ॐ महासेन महोंसेन जाताय नमः ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः ॐ गुरवे नमः ॐ अखण्डसंविदाकाराय नमः ॐ महौजसे नमः ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः ॐ श्रीमद्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः ॐ तीव्राय नमः ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः ॐ बिन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ पुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहास श्रीमण्डितानन्दमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ शूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूडिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजितजटाकृतये नमः। ॐ दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ नभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणास्य निभाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराज्ये नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ वीर्याय नमः। ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीशोणाचलदिग्बोधस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिवृक्केन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ हितोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्तसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानामाराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादकसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋचान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणात् बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्थिनिरकटाक्षरे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणाद्रिशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रगौरीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनाने नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्या जनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रह सुप्रवाह विवश तादात्म्यभावं गतः हृन्निष्ठस्वगभीरनित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनासे कराट् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नम इदं लोकोत्तरज्योतिषे। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
Namo Guru Bhagwan Shri Ramanacentre ki jai. Namo Ramana.
ನಮೋ ರಮಣ ಸರ್, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮೋ ರಮಣ.